Welcome to Mommas and Mannies. I'm your host, Trina. This is a short form podcast for mamas that are looking for a quick burst of me time. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button and make sure you are sharing this with another mama. It's the big week, Thanksgiving week, so definitely share this with another mama so she can navigate through the week of Thanksgiving and through the rest of the holiday season. But before we get started, we are going to go ahead and kick the episode off with the motivational quote. This week's quote is Thanksgiving centered. Again, this week we have a quote from the lovely Maya Angelou. It says, "Be present in all things and thankful for all things." Again, that quote from Maya Angelou is, "Be present in all things and thankful for all things." Now, last week we talked about part one of our Thanksgiving tips, our holiday tips, because all those tips definitely can cross over throughout all of this holiday season in the bird months. So if you did not catch those tips, definitely listen to last week's episode. That way you can get all caught up. This week, I forgot to say, it's mama time. So this week, what we're going to talk about is we are going to talk about what makes the holiday season so hard for some people. So just like as a precursor, you're going along about your year. If you don't really meet with family or friends on a regular basis, like if you don't have we go to mama's house on Sunday, we go to auntie house on every Saturday, whatever. If you don't have that set up, you're really kind of stuck in your own little bubble of your own family. Like wake up, go to work, you're drop kids off or go to the bus, work, come home, everybody gets home, you're eating dinner, doing homework, go to bed, do it all over. Then on the weekend, depending on how active your kids are, Saturday may be filled with sports, Sunday may be church or some other activity that you do with the family. And then you kind of just get stuck in that cycle. Well, with the holidays, it kind of breaks that up just depending on what your work schedule is like. Then you end up, you are kind of pushed. It depends on, we can say push, thrown, or, you get the opportunity to spend some time with some family that you may not have seen throughout the year, or you may not have seen that family basically all year. This may be your first time seeing them for the year. Well, that can be hard, especially for someone like we talked about last week. If you're used to routines, if you're used to certain things, one of the biggest issues I have, if you have a certain diet or like a restrictive diet, I'm a pescatarian, so I don't eat everything. Depending on who house you go to, it is meat in every dish. Meat in the black eyed peas, meat in the greens. I feel like people put a little meat on top of the macaroni and cheese. People put a little meat on top of the macaroni and cheese. I feel like I've talked about this before, but it's meat in everything. So, you're kind of like, okay, love to see family, friends, stuff like that, but what am I supposed to eat? So then I end up eating, or you may end up eating like one thing. You're not really full. Stuff isn't open. Thanksgiving, maybe things are open, like restaurants are open more than on Christmas, but for sure Christmas, just about everything is closed. So it just really depends. So that may be one of the things that makes it hard, like if you have a restrictive diet. Another thing that I was getting to was so much socialization, especially if you're not a part of an organization, or even think about it, if you're working from home, you may not really socialize with people. Just depends on your personality. You may not really socialize with people on a regular basis. So now you are kind of put into that environment where you're basically over socializing because everybody wants to catch up what's going on. They want to know what's going on with your kids and this. And it can be a lot, even though it's one day. Independent now, it may be more than one day, especially if you're traveling to be with family. Let's say you're off for the whole week of Thanksgiving and you're traveling to be with family, so you may have a whole week of visiting. So that can be a lot. The biggest thing, managing expectations. That's always a great one that comes up is if you're hosting the holidays, definitely somebody may say, well, every Thanksgiving we have apple pie, so I'm expecting the fresh homemade apple pie. And you're kind of like, I don't know how to make any pie. So that's an expectation. If you're having stuff at your house, people may be texting or calling and telling you what they want, what something's supposed to taste like. And you're like, oh, I have this vision in my head, and what you're telling me doesn't fit that vision. So that can definitely make it hard. Another one that can make it hard is, we talked about that, emotional. It could be emotional, especially if you lost a family or a friend around this time, or just even in the month of November or December, or even in January too. It could be hard with that emotional loss. Now you're thinking about, oh, I wish this family or this friend was here to celebrate during this time. And a lot of times people, especially if you have not lost anyone during these holiday months, you may not even think about that. So that's hard. If something major or something traumatic always happens when you're at like a Thanksgiving or a Christmas dinner, that can be something too that you don't want to deal with, because you're like, every time I go to blah, blah, blah house, somebody always gets into an argument, or somebody always makes a big announcement that's not really everybody's business. So things like that. And really, especially in this economic environment, financial, if you dealt with the government shutdown, that's something that you're really trying to come out of, probably still trying to figure out what's going on with your finances. So that's a big one, especially, trying to save up for gifts for your kids, or just trying to do a Thanksgiving meal. I know a lot of grocery stores, Aldi had it. I think even I have a little bag right here, a Lidl, whatever it's called. To the left of me, they even have, like in their weekly ad, they had where you can do Thanksgiving for a family of four for like $40. So looking for things like that will help with the finances. If you have a busy schedule, let's say if you work in a field where you're not off, like healthcare, we're open 24/7, 365. So you may still be busy. Like you may have to work Thanksgiving Day, or depending on how they do your night shift, you may have to work overnight. So that can make it really hard as well. And I was here's another one. I can't believe I forgot this one. I'm sure last week, just about every school, depends on the grade. I don't think they do it in middle school and high school, but for elementary schools, they have Thanksgiving lunch. So if you have kids in two different schools, that was us last year. My youngest daughter was in pre-K and my oldest daughter was, in a regular elementary school. So we had two Thanksgiving lunches, that we went to. So things like that can make it difficult. Just trying to figure that out, figure out your work schedule. All these things can make Thanksgiving, we're just going to talk about Thanksgiving, make Thanksgiving really difficult. I was trying to think and of course, comparison. That's the other thing that can make any holiday season hard. These things can definitely make the holiday season and Thanksgiving hard. But guess what, Mama? You do not have to succumb to these things. Sometimes there are ways to work around it, like I said, with the finances. If you want to make sure your little family has some food on the table, definitely check those. I know Kroger, I think even Walmart. I'm sure some other grocery stores have where you can do like $40. I'm going to look up one right now just to see. Now, of course, it depends on the grocery store too. Another good one is, hold on. So I'm just going to Google $40. Here we go. $40 Aldi Thanksgiving came up. All right. So what they're offering is a picture. And basically what it is, they're saying 10 people. Okay, hold on. Let me get a good picture. Yeah, this one's saying host Thanksgiving for 10 for just $40. So what they do, I just Googled it. You put in $40 Thanksgiving meal for Aldi. It says you can get a whole turkey, get a box of chicken broth, condensed cream of mushroom soup, evaporated milk, Hawaiian sweet rolls, mini marshmallows, cut green beans, canned pumpkin, shells and cheese, gravy mix, poultry, spices and herbs, French fried onions, pie crust, chicken or cornbread stuffing ×2, whipped dairy topping, yellow onions, baby peeled carrots, celery, cranberries, sweet potatoes 3 pounds, russet potatoes 10 pounds. So that's pretty good. Just looking at that, you'll have your whole turkey. You can have dressing on the side. The dressing not gonna have no meat in it now. You'll have rolls. You'll have green bean casserole. The canned pumpkin. I don't know what that's for. Okay, I don't know what canned pumpkin is because they don't, I know what canned pumpkin is, I'm sorry. They have canned pumpkin sweet potatoes in the mini marshmallows. So I guess you can make like sweet potato casserole. I don't know what the canned pumpkin for. So you can make sweet potato casserole with mushrooms on top. You got your macaroni and cheese. You have your gravy to go with your dressing. You have your onions, of course, to go inside your dressing and just flavoring for other things. Oh, here you go. You can do sweet potato pie because I had a pie crust with the evaporated milk. And then I guess you can do maybe like, what else? What's the thing called? I don't eat this. That's why I don't know what it's called. Sweet potato casserole. Thank you. Sweet potato souffle. So maybe you can make a pumpkin pie or you can make a sweet potato pie and then you can do like a pumpkin souffle and then, have a side of carrots. It's saying you can feed 10 people with that. Okay. Really. And I know somebody is probably either looking at their radio or looking at me on YouTube and they're like, you can't make no dressing. You can't even make good dressing for $40. You're right, mama. You are right. This is the basics that's just gonna feed the people. We not doing big mama dressing. We doing basics to feed the family. So I think that is a great idea. The other thing too, Aldi does not sell like the big can of green beans and stuff like that. But you can get those, like if you go to Kroger, you can get those big cans of green beans and maybe not even do the carrots. You could probably get a big thing of green beans, and then you can cut the potatoes up into green beans. It just depends. It's a lot of things you can do. Even if you want to put another $10 with it, I think you can really have a great Thanksgiving if you don't do dressing or you're like, that dressing gonna be too basic. I don't want to eat it. Do some rice. You can get a bag of rice for a few dollars. You can do rice and gravy. And then, you can put a little bit more with it if you want to do like a real macaroni and cheese, because from that list, it was just basically boxed macaroni and cheese. So that's what you can do for your finances. Family expectations, mama, listen. Don't listen to anyone else's expectation. That's outrageous. Of course, the expectation is, okay, let's make sure we have enough space. Make sure you have something for us to drink, water, tea, or something. Those are basic expectations. Not the expectation of, if I'm not gonna eat no dressing unless it got what people put in dressing. Like the seafood dressing where they be putting like crab and all that. That's an unrealistic expectation, especially if finances are tight. So think about it. Your expectation, you go ahead and you set your expectation today. It's a few days before Thanksgiving. You set the expectation of what you want Thanksgiving Day to look like, especially if you're hosting. Even if you're not hosting and you're going to a family member's house, set the expectation of no chaos, peace, happiness, fellowship. Go ahead and set that expectation today so you don't have to worry about that stress. Even for yourself, set the boundary of, if somebody get to acting a fool, I am removing myself and my family from that situation. Go ahead and say that right now. I am removing myself and my family from that situation. That is a boundary that you can set up and it's realistic. With your schedule, it may not be too much you can do right now since today is Monday and it's a week of Thanksgiving. I'm not going to tell you to call out or anything, like I'm not doing that. But if you have the ability maybe to change your schedule with somebody, definitely see if you can work that out. Maybe if you can get off a little bit earlier on Wednesday if you're doing cooking, definitely see if you can work that out. And two, even if you're dealing with a loss of a family member or a friend, just really sitting down and being thankful for the time that you were able to spend with that person. Looking at some old pictures and just remembering that person in the happy moments. So those are just some tips I wanted to go over. That way you can really, have a happy, successful, thankful Thanksgiving. And I would love to hear how you would spend the $40 or the $50 and what you would eat with your family. Tell me how you cook food. I would love to know, because I was looking at a recipe site and I did see a seafood dressing and I was like, okay, I can get behind that. That's something that I probably could do. I think the people I saw making just regular dressing, but I think she baked the chicken and then maybe it was like chicken breast, and then she shredded it and put it in the dressing. But I was like, I think I could do that probably with some crab meat and some shrimp. So, just see what you can do. I would love to see what recipes or what twists do you put on your traditional recipes. Do you do seafood dressing? Do you put something in your macaroni and cheese? How do you make your greens? Do you make your greens with meat in them? Because I really don't eat collard greens. But my biggest thing, do you make your cabbage? I do eat cabbage. With meat in it, or what do you put in it? Like when I make cabbage, I just do onions and carrots. I think it tastes great. It tastes good. You don't miss the meat. What is your favorite thing, or what is your go-to dish for Thanksgiving? Are you the expert at making turkey? Are you the expert at making pies? Or are you the expert at making sweet tea? So definitely leave the feedback. Let me know. As always, remember please share this with another mama or someone that is looking for Thanksgiving tips. This episode is just not for moms. It's for everybody, just to cope with the week of Thanksgiving. Or if you want to carry this all throughout this holiday season, definitely do that. Remember to follow us on our social media platforms at Mommas and Manny's. Watch us on YouTube. Listen to us on Spotify or wherever you may get your favorite podcast. And remember, we have a Patreon, same title, Mommas and Manny's. We would love to have you there to go ahead and create a real mama community so we can give tips, have somewhere to meet. We would love to have you. And remember that me time is essential and it is never selfish. Happy Thanksgiving.